Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Monster Super League. It's your boy Odin. And of course, I am bringing you guys some brand new update information on the upcoming game from Smart Study Games, or otherwise known as SSG. I did want to basically go ahead and make a quick video about this because the images just recently came out, and I'm talking this morning. So I was able to get my hand on a copy of those images. So I basically just wanted to make a quick little video. It's better to do it on my phone because you can actually zoom in a little bit better. I've had an iPhone 14 Pro Max, so I figured I would go ahead and basically record this on my phone to make sure that I'm able to kind of highlight and go through these images one by one. So I basically just wanted to go ahead and show you guys what is essentially brand new information for the upcoming Latecia game, which again is supposed to be released sometime again or this year in 2023. At this point in time, I can't really say if it's whether or not this game will be released in Korea first. Similar to how Monster Super League was released in the first year or so, it essentially came out just in Korea first, and it wasn't really launched as a global product until pretty much 9 months later after its initial release. So it may be the case where they launch Latecia this year in Korea and then just kind of republish everything for the global side the following year, maybe in 2014 or maybe later down the road in late 2013. So whether or not they release it this year is still up for question. However, this information can be found on the Smart Study Games website, which I will leave a link to in the section below. So if you are interested, you can basically go ahead and follow up and make sure you guys check into that website every couple of weeks, because I assume they are going to be releasing new information regarding the game fairly soon if they are going to release it in 2013. Again, if they are mainly releasing this in Korea first, I would like to definitely get my hands on a couple of things to make sure that I'm able to log in and play the game on the Korean side or the Korean servers myself, so I can test everything out, and that way I can give you guys the best information going forward once it does launch globally first, or secondly, I should say. So let's go ahead and basically do a breakdown here of these images. As you guys can see, this is essentially a brand new logo, or what could be the main page or main launch for the new game. Translated, really the text says something along the lines of there's a brand new portal in the sky. We're looking for new adventurers to partake in the quests. So something along those lines. You guys can forgive my translation. I'm not very good at it. I basically just did a quick Google Translate to figure out what that said, and you guys got to thank me for that because it took me literally half an hour to get that thing to actually translate properly some of that text. Unfortunately, I don't speak Korean very well. I have a friend of mine that speaks Korean, and I just sent it to him because, again, really I just got this information today, so I haven't heard back from him yet. But once I get the exact translation, I'll pin it in the comment section down below as well. So anyways, I hope you guys are very excited for this. I definitely am. And yeah, let's go ahead and basically break down here the images. Again, really zooming in on an iPhone is a little bit better than to do it on my PC. So I figured I would go ahead and basically do it here. So there is the 2023 trademark from Smart Study Games, or SSG. And as you guys can see there on the bottom left, it definitely appears to be semi-open world, if not fully open world, similar to Genshin Impact. I'm not sure how big the game will be, but it does look like it is going to be semi-open world is what I'm going to call it for now. So it looks like there's a couple of islands floating in the background with a little bit of, a couple of civilization there in the back. So it does look pretty neat, and it is kind of similar to how the buildings look right now inside the game right now. If you have, the Hanamura spaceship, or the ship, I should just say, it'll look somewhat like that. Or if you have the beginner ship, it'll look something like that as well. In the back here, I will take note, there's like this giant rhombus or something floating up in the sky with a beam of light floating up here to some higher mountains. That is, again, kind of looking pretty cool, almost like Sky Falls. But that is really neat. The clouds, the graphics themselves, they've done a really good job. And then, of course, right here, right off the bat, you guys will notice there is a brand new ship model. It is pretty nice. I actually think it looks really, really neat. The design itself, when you zoom in, almost looks like the Genshin Impact look as well. Kind of very castle-y, very, adventure-y type place. So it does look pretty neat. Again, I'm not really sure how, they're going to make this game, whether it's going to be something where you can fly the ship to a specific place, you know, or if maybe it's just like a little cut scene in between like stages where it just shows you the ship flying. It would be really neat if we have the full capability to move around using the ship. But who knows? I feel like that might be too much to ask from a company like Smart Study Games, seeing as most of their games are essentially, very one or two-dimensional games, not really three-dimensional games is what I should say. So again, in the sky here in the background, you guys will see there is a floating island there with another, looks to be another castle. And there is a better close-up of that image here in the next shot as well. Again, really, you're just really looking at, almost like a big background of floating, islands and a big new land. There's really not much to say, because we don't really know too much about the game itself. But, you guys can take your time. I'll go ahead and post these pictures on my Discord. They actually are on my Discord right now. That's where I'm showing you guys this right now. So if you want to take a look at the images yourselves, you can go in here as well and take a look as well. So let's go ahead and go over to the main banner that it looks like they've chosen here for this brand new release. As you guys can see, Arthur has a different outfit on. Same thing with the Yeti. There's some other little monster dude here on the bottom left. I'm not sure if that's a new Astromon yet to be released somewhat. Looks to be. But that is pretty neat. That looks to be a brand new Astromon. So it's nice that they're continuing on to create new mons, etc. There is Valkyrie, Ultimate Evolution Valkyrie. She does look pretty neat. I definitely like how her model looks. Again, I'm not really sure if this is how the models are going to look or if these are just mainly like the aesthetic teasers they put out for whenever they release a new game. But if you guys take a quick look here at Acer, she also does look pretty much like how she is in game now, except slightly better model. Almost Genshin Impact looking type characters, really animated, like, 3D. And then here is the Fire Draka. Now, if you guys look closely here, Fire Draka does seem to have a bit of a different skin on her. Maybe that is an Ultimate Evolution form of Fire Draka, still yet to be released. I'm assuming that is definitely going to be an Ultimate Evolution form. She's got some like wood horn here going on, and she's got some really different look of just the way that she looks is completely different, including the chest piece. It looks like she's wearing some armor. And then there's Cosmo here, Evo 2 in the background. But anyways, it looks like maybe at some point in time in the next year, maybe Fire Draka will get an Ultimate Evolution, which would be really, really good because she is essentially a mon that very much is used in the entire game. And I think that if she got an Ultimate Evolution, it would just make things so much easier for a lot of players. Plus, it'll help you really focus in on which mon you want to build next. And if you do happen to have a Fire Draka or 2 or 3 like I do, you'd be a very, very happy camper to know that she is probably going to still be the best farmer, aside from a Dark Mona or something like that. So as far as speed goes. So in essence, really what I'm getting to is that the models look a little bit different. We still don't really know if this is what the game itself is going to look like when you open the game or play it. Really, it's going to come down to, when did they release the game? How soon can I get my hands on the actual game itself to test it out? And then, if they do release it on the Korean side, like I said, I'll be looking to see if I can get myself into that first initial launch so that I can test it out and give you guys the best information that I can possibly bring you guys once the game does launch. So that is it for that second image. And then here we do get quite a bit more as far as the different terrains, the different places that we'll be seeing here. But right away, you'll see there's a brand new structure here, again, with that same beam pointed up towards the sky. They look to be almost like the pillars or something like that, with energy. I'm not sure, what the game would be like. Maybe you go around collecting energy to like unlock new zones, or, you complete certain quests to open up new zones, etc. But that is essentially just the first image there. It could just be a visual or a tower or something like that of interest in a specific zone. The tree models here is what basically lead me to believe that this may not all be 3D open world. So I'm going to say that the game so far looks to be somewhat semi-open, maybe not fully open, just because, again, really that 3D rendering that's in there right now is very 2D-ish. And it looks more to be like a small little snippet that they would make like for a cut scene in between, like, stages. So Here is the other side. That looks to be, again, like a little close-up of that first image, that little village in the sky, pretty much, you know, floating island. Not much else to say. There's a ton of windmills, similar to the windmill that's on the ship. So, and then here is another concept teaser here in the background. This is that floating island that I kind of pointed out on that first image. Let me see if I can go back to it. This one here. If you look closely here on the background, you can kind of see there's that floating island with the broken stones and the broken pillar right there. So that kind of looks like that area right there. But as you zoom in, as you guys will see, there is another ship here. I'm not entirely sure if that's the same model of ship. It kind of does look to be the same model here, just based on the wingspan and the design there for kind of like a floating bird. So same similar design is seen here on this one. So I think it's going to be the same ship. 3 engines and everything on there as well. So it does look like we will be getting some new ship models, which is very, very nice. This area here almost looks like Sky Falls. If not Sky Falls, it looks almost like Slumbering City-ish. So it could just be, you know, again, really more of like a teaser concept that doesn't look to be like an actual image of the game. It's just more of like a 3D rendering. And then same thing with the portal key here. It looks like a big ring. It's definitely floating up in the sky, almost like a gate into another stage. So it could be that is essentially, you know, just some new model for new stage, or if it's just a new area to be unlocked. But there you go, guys, have it. I just wanted to, again, really make this quick video so that you guys are up to date on some of the stuff that they are working on for the upcoming game Latecia. I'm definitely excited. I hope that it's as good as Monster Super League is. I personally think that they should just, you know, do a big patch to Monster Super League and just kind of relaunch it. So essentially, you would just, you know, instead of calling the game Monster Super League on the Apple App Store, all they would have to do is just rename it, change it to something else, and then everybody can basically just almost think about it like a new relaunch, but really you're maintaining the same game while adding a ton of new game files. Because right now, the way I see it, the game itself really is only a couple of gigabytes. I think it's only like 2.5 or almost 3 gigabytes. So there's definitely a lot more room for more data and more game files. And they have already updated their 3D rendering, their 3D engines, and the systems that they use to basically develop this. I think they're using Unisoft's, I think it's called G5 or G6, the version of the 3D rendering that they're using. I think it's either TG5 or TG6. I can't remember the exact name of it. But essentially, this looks to be that it's going to be almost semi-open world. So right now, that's all we have for information. But again, you know, as we get more information, I'll go ahead and share that with you guys. But in the meantime, you can go over to the Discord. I'll leave a link to that down below, and then you guys can basically go straight there for these images. And again, it's listed on my games and game news and updates channel. There is quite a few other channels as well. If you're looking for a clan, guys, make sure you guys go in there as well. There's tons of other people. It's a very open platform and allow you to, you know, really communicate with other active Monster Super League players. There's all kinds of stuff here that you guys can look for. But there is a ton of other information that you guys can go through as far as, like, you know, arena compositions. There's Apophis, there's Dimension Defense, there's Titans compositions, etc. So yeah, feel free to guys to get into the Discord and check out what we have. But with that said, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy, guys.